Speaking of which, thoughts on the Raw Women's Championship match, Bianca Belair and Carmella. I thought they had another decent match, but the outcome was never really in doubt. Bianca Belair is still the Raw Women's Champion, and as we all expected, Bianca and Becky Lynch made official for SummerSlam 1 year removed from when SummerSlam, or when, from SummerSlam last year, from when Becky beat Bianca, returned, became champion in a matter of seconds, turned heel, and now we are where we are a year later. So I like the fact that we're revisiting this. We have a lot of rematches on this pay-per-view, some of which I'm less excited for than others. But I'm actually looking forward to this because they've always worked well together. I thought the WrestleMania match was great, and I'm hoping that this is how they finish up the story. I don't need to see any more rematches. They already had a bunch of matches late last year. They had the Mania match. They feuded going into WrestleMania. They're feuding right now. I don't think there's any real reason to continue this. And we'll get into SummerSlam predictions next week, but I really don't think there's any reason for Becky to be beating Bianca. But going into SummerSlam, though, I think this is the best attraction they could do with the women on the Raw side, with Rhea Ripley being gone right now, and I'm looking forward to it. So the Carmella-Bianca stuff was kind of pointless, but the match itself was fine. But I think as far as building towards Bianca and Becky part 5 or 6 or whatever it is, I thought it was effective.
Yeah, I thought this was a good way to get to where we are now. Like you said, I'm excited for it. They've always worked well together. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there should be more rematches. It should be the end-all, be-all. I think Bianca probably should win. I don't know if that's definitely going to happen or not, but I think for a year removed, I think it would be the right move to have Bianca win, and then you go on a different direction with Becky, and then you move on.
Do you think there's any chance Becky gets the belt back, and maybe they do, as people have pitched to me before, do a double turn? I don't know if I would do that necessarily. It could be interesting, but like I said, I'd rather just see them move on from this to see other fresh faces in the title picture, but that's just me.
I think there's a better chance that she moves brands than actually turning babyface, but, anything's possible, I guess. Bianca's good as a face. I feel like she could be a better heel, but I don't think there's any need to turn them both. It's weird because I feel like Bianca's definitely popular, and I feel like, I don't know, it's not like she's getting booed, so it would be kind of random to turn her. It's not like she's at the point of being like a babyface that's starting to get boos. Becky gets cheered too, but she's just such a star that that's just going to happen even if she's a babyface or heel. People are going to cheer her. So I don't think so. I think there's a better chance Becky loses and maybe moves brands or stays brands and Bianca moves. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's how you kind of get around her not going for the belt right now.
Well, speaking of swapping brands, that kind of brought to my attention the idea of the unresolved issues between Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. I just feel like at this point, that is such an afterthought, and with Rousey recently being beaten by Liv, albeit in like fluky fashion at Money in the Bank, she's not remotely as special, even as she was 6 months ago, like when she still wasn't exactly finding her footing in the company, when she first came back and whatnot. She felt more special then than she does now. And I know she's getting a rematch at SummerSlam, and that's great and all. I hope she loses. Just because Liv should have a longer reign. She should have a great... listen, I don't dislike Ronda as much as other people, but you and I can both agree Liv deserves a long reign, or at least a couple of month reign, long reign, as SmackDown Women's Champion. I just feel like to do Becky and Ronda at this point, I guess they could save that for Mania. But honestly, who the hell could even care at this point?
I try to tell you people, I said he should have done it this year. It's the hottest it was going to be, and no one would have listened to me. So, Ronda's definitely cooled off since she came back. Definitely since WrestleMania, after WrestleMania. Her whole feud with Charlotte was just kind of there. It was nice she won the belt, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like you should have done it then and then moved on with it. It's the biggest match they could have done, but they went with her and Charlotte, and now Ronda's probably the least interesting she's ever been when she's been in WWE. So I think she should lose to Liv. I don't know if she will, but if she loses to Liv, then maybe she goes heel and then you kind of heat her up another way, but I really don't know. I think this might be not the end, but this is the least popular she's been, and I can see why.
Yeah, that ship has sailed, I feel like. You could always do the match, and it would be interesting because we haven't seen it one-on-one yet, but how much does it even really mean at this point? And the fact that they're going in a different direction with newer women, and it's always possible they put the belts back on the 4 horsewomen by WrestleMania, or at least the 3 horsewomen, 3 of the 4 horsewomen, because Sasha Banks is gone, seemingly. But they're trying out something new with Liv right now. Bianca's been champion for a while. Rhea Ripley was someone they were focusing on before she got hurt. So I'm hoping that we see more of this and not as much reliance on people like Charlotte and Becky and Bayley, even when she comes back. I would have to assume at this point they're saving Bayley, because did you see that report last week? Bayley's probably on her way back either at SummerSlam or soon after.
I did.
I assume she comes back on the SmackDown after. I mean, I guess she can come back on the pay-per-view. I heard that she's going to be in Nashville for SummerSlam, but I assume they save her either for that show or the week after. And, I mean, these shows could use her. I know they have a nice division on both brands individually, but I just feel like either Raw or SmackDown could really use her right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would probably still say SmackDown has a lot of newer women. I don't know where you'd put her. I feel like you probably slate her. If Ronda's gone, or if Ronda loses and she goes away for a little bit, I feel like SmackDown would probably need Bayley a little bit more. But we don't know when Charlotte's coming back, so you bring Charlotte back, and they're both heels. I feel like Charlotte would outshine her. So I think I would go with SmackDown, but I mean, Raw probably could use her too.
Yeah, she could be a nice opponent for Liv Morgan, and you could always do her and Bianca on Raw. Either one would be fine with me, but her and Liv would be a fresher feud, so I would be totally open for that.